I step into a new arena.
So what's your name? Yullbrenna.
Fresh meat!
Alright, hey everybody, Yullbrenna here with another Ability Arena gameplay video, and we're starting off with the new season here. So today I decided to pick Centaur, and it wasn't my first choice of a god, I couldn't find the one I wanted, but definitely a good god to choose when the right spells are in play. So what does Centaur do? So it's going to gain health per round for one of your units, and they're going to return 35% of the physical attack damage dealt to them. And you can move this around to whoever you want. So really what this is looking like, you're going to build, a tanky unit for your front line or just off of your front line. So I find Centaur to be a pretty good god. I've recommended it before, where it's one of the easy gods in the game. Again, it's really not, it's a low maintenance god that you can work around. I think it's good in the early game when there's a lot of physical damage, so you're doing really well and gaining a lot of health. And then you can also set yourself up for the end game and make a really tanky unit that's causing a lot of damage and a lot of problems to the opponent. So one of the things you'll want to look for when you're picking Centaur, especially if you're going to be putting a lot of passives on him, similar to a Rix unit, is you're going to make sure that, maybe Ice Blast is in play and then a lot of breaks aren't in play, because with the Centaur unit, although it doesn't revive like a Rix unit, I'm going to want to build it up tanky, and I'm going to want to heal the unit, and that's where Sunray comes into play. You can see here's where the tankiness is coming into play for a Centaur. Really strong early game again. And it doesn't require a, it doesn't scale off of shop level here, but I'm definitely want to get ultimates into play and having a good start to this game. Sunray's doing a lot of work for me. And the early points in Anchor Smash doing well. So I'm picking up Shadow Shaman. He's going to be probably my spellcaster and potentially a heal build. And then right now I just have Weaver doing some various attack damage. The builds are a little bit in flux right now for the tanky unit. I really wanted to go for some sort of reflection build to kind of combo off of all of the reflection damage that you do. But a lot of the spells have not been showing up for me. So going strong for me, I'm in a really good spot, so that's why I leveled up again. And again, more points in Sunray, so I do like that spell. Love to get it to Gaben. I think it's really valuable when it gets on there. And I pick up Mystic Flare, I do need some additional damage. Backline got a little messed up, but my front line is still tanky, and especially with the Anchor Smash, the opponent can't do a lot of damage, so still going strong for me here. And finding a lot of points in Dragon's Blood, so that's pretty big as well for this this build. Now I'm just going to be getting even tankier. So this opponent gets to my backline, really unfortunate here. Sunray gets stunned, so probably going to fall here. That's okay. And I find the Holy Locket. Since I'm going to be doing a healing build, Holy Locket will definitely be valuable for me. And I'm not finding a lot of attack speed, so probably pick up Unleash here. And of course, Borrowed Time, really great to put on a Centaur build. Trying to get him really tanky. I've got borrowed time, I've got time walk, so he should be pretty survivable while returning all that damage. Even if you don't have a lot of damage spells on your Centaur, he's still going to be returning a lot of damage.
I will stomp them to dust.
So adding more frontline in, and sometimes I don't mind having my Centaur build not be the initiator, and maybe come in second so that they don't get blown up. So I'll put Dawnbreaker in the front, and I just needed to put any spell on them, so I'll throw on the Mystic Flare for some added damage. Spectre Carapace, always a good spell. It's a top rated spell, so definitely going to pick that up. And finding more points into Unleash. Since I'm going the Unleash build, probably sticking with that. Don't need the added attack speed of Overcharge. So that spell will probably go by the wayside. So yeah, still going strong, just lost that one game. I'm at shop 4 here. I don't really need to go to the top shop. Again, you don't scale based off of shop level, so there's no need to max out shop unless you're being really greedy and want that additional shop, but not something that I value. So Axe jumping into the middle, tanking a lot of this damage. He's getting a lot of heals and returning a lot of damage. Again, not a lot of attack items on him, but it's going pretty well. So I see Kunkka. That is probably a better body than Axe for my last unit. And then I just needed one more spellcaster for some added magic damage. So switching that around, Overgrowth will go with Waveform. I like that combo a lot. So that'll be my initiation, and then I'll have backline magic damage, backline heals, and some backline physical damage. So a pretty well-rounded build for me so far, pretty balanced. And yeah, still going strong for me. You can see Kunkka is really tanky. All my backline surviving right now. So really good sign. Still finding a ton of points in Dragon's Blood, and looking for some additional healing spells as well. Tried to reroll, but for a better unit. Eventually got one with Sniper. That'll work for backline damage. So a lot of backline damage here. Sniper kind of left on his own, but Waveform comes into play, and my front line's just a little bit tankier, and Sniper managed to survive. So it was a little bit of a tougher round, but did well. There's Kraken Shell. Like I said, I wanted to do this max reflection type build, and there's Dispersion. That was the other one. You can see it didn't fall for me. Really unfortunate. But I'm still going to invest in it. I'm doing pretty well, so I want to see if I can get it. Again, the end goal is really to have Kraken Shell and Dispersion maxed out so that they're reflecting damage. You have the Centaur buff reflecting damage, and it just kind of becomes this just giant reflection of damage. Kind of a meme build, but I think it's pretty fun to do. So on a winning streak, looking for a lot of the healing spells again, since I can flesh that out. And I'm going for Bash over the Mana Drain. I just think an Unleash, it's gonna stun lock an opponent, and I may need that in the future. Accidentally forgot to drag it in there, so that's unfortunate. The backline is getting targeted, but they're able to survive. A lot of heals coming out. And I've got a lot of stun, a lot of tankiness. So, yeah, I think this is the Shiva's, which is probably the best bet. Make my guy a little bit tankier. I could have gone maybe Desolator on Sniper, but I don't think Sniper is really my main damage dealer. Plus, I have a lot of attack modifiers on him with Fury Swipe, so I'm not really looking too much for the added damage as much as I am for other items. So the Shiva's, it can maybe go on Dawnbreaker later, so it's a valuable item no matter who it's on. My backline getting hit a little hard here. Very tanky frontline for this guy. And the Spiked Carapace is pretty annoying. My Kunkka just gets over a little late, and I'm not able to save my Sniper, so there might not be enough added damage to kill this guy, but Kunkka is pretty tanky. There's my first time seeing Double Edge as well. You can see a lot of these spells just did not pop for me, probably popped for other opponents. So my Reflection build, not going strong for the time being. I'm not really going for Anchor Smash, so I don't mind selling it off. And I'm keeping Kraken Shell because, again, I still want to go for this Reflection build. If you saw, my Sunray got immediately interrupted because of Spike Carapace, a big counter to Sunray, so always take a look if Spike Carapace is in play, if you're going Sunray, and maybe delay the Sunray, put it as one of your later spells, or, you know, just try to get it to Gaben. Still on a winning streak since I technically tied with that last opponent. And was just looking for some additional stun, so don't mind throwing that in there. Spike Carapace, I'm going to leave it level 3. It's not really my win condition spell, although it is a very good, valuable spell. I recommend picking it up almost every time it's in play. Playing this opponent again that I got tied with the last time. They doomed my Kunkka, so a little unfortunate. And again, his backline is really causing problems for me. But I'm just tanky enough, and I managed to survive. More heals. Leaving Hand of God at level 3. I don't think there's any reason to go past level 3 on it. Bloodrage I always think is valuable. You can leave it at level 3, but I like going for the Super and the Gaben. They're really valuable. The Super is going to give you added attack speed on another unit, and it'll buff another unit, and then the Gaben is going to give you heals, and it's going to give you percent damage. So it's a really valuable spell. I think is great at 3, 6, and 9. That's why it's one of the top win rate spells. Kunkka is just too tanky. I mean, both my frontliners just aren't dying with the heals and added Centaur buff. It's really tough to kill, and Bane is really stepping up in the damage department because he just has so much space. Double Edge still not popping for me, so I'm looking at a lot of my opponents. You can see someone already has it at Gaben, and that's one of the builds I've been frustrated with, and some other opponents have gotten it. So, again, a lot of my spells that I'm looking for, some of them aren't even contested, they just haven't popped for me, which that's going to happen in Ability Arena. Sometimes the spells you go for just don't pop, and that's just the way it goes. Luckily, I think Centaur is just a good god, and it's going to provide buffs even when you can't find your spells. So I'm facing this guy. He's got double edge, 2 Gaben. You can see his Tusk is doing a lot of damage, a lot of problems for my backline, and he's just, yeah, it's really tough. I managed to kill his backline, and he kills my backline. I just don't think Kunkka right now has the damage to go toe-to-toe with him. You can see he's having a tough time killing him. The Dragon's Blood is dealing a lot of damage, but I just don't have the damage to keep up with him. I forgot to buy that spell fast enough, so I lost 3 gold there. That was a bit of a whoopsie. And there's Gaben Sunray, so big buff when I can get that. Looking at a lot of the spells again, Kraken Shell didn't really go for anybody else, it just didn't pop for me. So I'll just lock shop, and I've got a lot of health, so I can afford to not sell a spell here. So now Sunray Gaben, so it'll have that supernova at the start. There's a little bit more in double edge, which might be one of the ways I compete with this build for that Tusk that has it already maxed out. But it really just didn't pop for me, and I'm going to need to adjust. That's why I'm looking at my opponent. I see a lot of his tankiness is on that left side. A lot of damage to start it off, but I've got a lot of heals, and I managed to withstand a lot of the damage that my opponent had, and he just can't get through my Kunkka right now. And managed to take him down. So Bash, fine leaving it at level 3. Don't need to go past that. There's more Kraken Shell. Again, I'm still going for that build. Would be really nice if I could get it up to Gaben and then throw it on the Kunkka and go for max reflection with dispersion and Kraken Shell. Here's the tanky build. So my sniper is kind of just getting completely distracted by the borrowed time unit, and he's just going to get beat up by that tanky build. So kind of need to avoid the tankiness. A lot of the damage from my Bane and my sniper is getting wasted on those units. You can see Kunkka is putting up a good fight, but just isn't enough. That one unit's going to be difficult to kill. So I'm going for the reflection build. I think I'll go with Blade Mail. It would be really good to get Mjolnir on my sniper. That would add a lot of damage, but there's not a lot of illusion builds, so Mjolnir, the damage might not be as significant. So I'm going to grab Blade Mail. I think it's one of those that you should just always pick up, especially with a tanky frontliner. So get Bloodrage to Gaben. Again, that's a spell I value getting to Gaben. And trying to swap so my Bane doesn't get hit again by this Tusk unit. My Kunkka gets broken or something, and unfortunately dies there. I'm stunning his Tusk as much as I can, trying to keep him from getting off double edge stacks. And with all the stuns, it ends up working out. He is very tanky, but again, that's so the stuns added with Bloodrage Gaben. So again, Bloodrage Gaben is going to do percentage-based damage. So against those tankier units, Bloodrage Gaben is definitely going to be one of those spells that you should target if you have somebody that's maxing out Flesh Golem, maxing out Double Edge, and you don't know how to deal with the added tankiness. Bloodrage Gaben is one way to deal with that. Of course, Fury Swipes is another one because it's just going to add stacks and stacks of that damage. More stuns and the percentage-based damage, and I'm able to take him down. So you can see once I got Bloodrage Gaben, this guy hasn't been as big of a threat to me, and Kunkka's also adding in a lot of damage. The reflection is working. Blade Mail is just one of those game changer items. I always like getting Lightning Bolt to Gaben. I think that's a little undervalued by people. Get Dispersion up to super, so that's a little bit more damage for Kunkka. And he's holding up pretty tanky. Let's see if I can finish this off again, trying to avoid the Tusk and making sure that my sniper can hit the Tusk and get that percentage base damage. Trying to shuffle around, let's see if I can do it. Sniper's getting hit pretty hard, but the Sunray goes off, the Supernova goes off. I'm able to get all my stuns off. Sniper focuses on him, let's see if I can get him down. Kunkka's taking care of the rest with the Blade Mail. Come on. Sniper's still struggling, but I managed to get it off, and I managed to take it down. So there you go, that's one way to deal with a double edge build, a really tanky build. Hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.